Plays the Thing with your host, Judy Sleed. Special guest, Sunshine Lemme. Now here's Judy.
One more time, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Lee. And today I have Sunshine with us. We have Sunshine. How are you doing, Sunshine?
I'm doing just wonderful,
And
Judy.
you are
How do
Sunshine even when it's raining, right?
Yeah, I'm sunshine all the time.
That's wonderful. Your wife must have a happy, happy life. You're always making sunshine.
Well, we always seem to be getting along pretty well.
And I looked at your website this morning, and you are an incredibly busy guy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
are
do a lot of things right now.
You're a firefighter. You are with the Long Island Emergency Company.
Yeah, that's my company, right.
That's your company. And what does that mean, that it's your company?
Well, I registered the name down at the county center, and I set up the company. And
yeah, but what does your company do?
Well, what I do is training and consultation. It's become to revolve more around continuity, keeping companies together so that no matter what happens, that they have a plan in order to keep on operating. I also do a lot of training in that field and also in CPR.
Yes, you
setting
do.
up
You
evacuation
were
plans,
named
those
the
kinds of-
Firefighter of the Year.
Yes, I was Firefighter of the Year 2002, I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I was on a tremendous call that year. So.
you were on a tremendous call.
Yeah, we had a firefighter fall down a well, and I got
Wow.
to be the
Where was
critical
that?
care in Montauk.
In Montauk.
Yeah, it was not in the line of duty, but so then when we got him up, I was the critical care tech in the ambulance at that time. So.
Well, that's wonderful. You're keeping all this a secret from us. I mean, I've known you for a long time, and all I could see is this big guy, 6'6", with a hat,
Well,
who sometimes have to jump up and run because they're calling
happens.
you.
Right.
Something happens, and you're basically a very calm person.
Well, I try to be, or at least I fake it well.
I've never seen you lose it, never. Are you always so calm about everything that you do?
Usually I try to stay pretty focused, you know.
And you also are a teacher, a technician, and you're a computer whiz.
Well, I don't know about a computer whiz. I did make that website, you know, and I've functioned. I even got paid to be a webmaster at one time or another.
A webmaster.
Right. I used to be the webmaster at Gurney's, but.
Oh, and you have a job at Gurney's.
Oh yes,
and
I'm director of
writing.
I'm director of continuity and compliance at Gurney's. That's.
Oh wow, that's
you know,
wonderful. And I guess you just make everybody happy when they come to complain.
Well, I don't always get the complaints, but you know, I have a very good relationship with people like the fire marshal and the health department. You know, they're very good people. They're really there to help us. You know, not to write us up because you know, if we don't have this done right, you know, the door's opening the wrong way or something. They're there to protect the people, and that's my job too.
To protect the people.
Right. My job is to protect lives, and so when I have a problem, I have a question, I'll call the health department or the fire department, I mean the fire marshal, and ask them what their opinion is on this. You know, because they're the experts. They're our wonderful consultants that we have, and we don't have to pay them.
You have to pay them. That's good. And on your shirt, it's a security officer.
Yes, I'm also work with the security department a lot. During the day, when there's probably the least security, is when needed. that's when I
At
worked.
Gurney's?
At Gurney's. So I'm in my Gurney's uniform right now. So.
Oh, this is the uniform.
Right.
So
I
I guess
came
you
right
get
from
a
work.
lot of respect from people when they see you.
Well, I hope so. You know,
Yes, I mean.
it works both ways.
No, I mean, the way you present yourself with this wonderful uniform and the way you stand, I mean, people sort of look up to you. Well, they have to. I mean, I have to look up to you. I'm only 5 feet.
Most people look up to me, literally.
Yes. You're a good guy to have around, so people would feel safe when they see you.
Yeah, that's really important, I think, for a lot of people to know that, you know, we've got EMT on staff. We've got someone who's a firefighter who knows how to do things, you know, all kinds of rescue certificates. I absolutely love what I do in the fire department. And
You find your calling.
Well, sometimes it gets in the way of my work, but, you know, yes.
And you mentioned before that you're from California.
Yes, originally I grew up in California, in Southern California.
And when did you venture out here?
Well, I had moved to Arizona to work in my brother's factory. I managed his factory, made cookware, and that wasn't going too well. So I found a job in East Hampton in 1988, October.
From Arizona, you found a job in East Hampton.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I answered an ad in, it was an organic gardening magazine. And I answered an ad. They were looking for someone to manage an estate.
Isn't that
and
something?
So I did that.
You packed up and you moved.
And
no regrets.
I was kind of tired of what I was doing. I was a little bit at loose ends. And at that point, I had never considered you know, being in the emergency field at all. So I came out here, and I still love plants. I grew up on a farm. I still love growing things. And so that's what I was doing. That worked out very well. And having a lot of experience in management.
You probably have a very nice garden.
Actually, we don't have much of a garden at all right now. I don't have time for it.
I see. Did they ask you at Gurney's to tend to the plants?
That's where I started. That's what I started doing at Gurney's.
How do you like that?
Well, I still love it. It was very good. But they also asked me after a while to take over their fire brigade and testing the hoses, and little by little I got into that. At one point, you know, Gurney's has been through a bankruptcy, and during that time they needed someone to take over the human resources department. And so I did that, and then they came out of bankruptcy and realized that they really needed, in their expansion, someone to, in their renovation, I shouldn't say expansion, someone to take over the compliance end of things, to make sure that what we're doing was agreeable to ADA, to make sure that everything met the fire marshal's approval, met all the approvals of all the different agencies. So I started doing that, and that's how I got into continuity.
So you're doing everything for them.
Yeah.
You are doing more than the owner.
Oh, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
Seems to me that they rely on you a lot.
Well, I think that there's some things that they do, but I'm not really involved in the day-to-day operations of Gurney. So I mean some things like in the security, but most of it is behind the scenes kind of operations.
And I read on your website that you have, in 1995, you were the first one to launch this art gallery in Hampton.
Oh yeah, that was the first website I made was for myself, Now International, which is a website that is now defunct. We no longer do that. We didn't make any money at it, but I was looking for something to do on the web. I just got fascinated on the web. At one point, after I'd moved out here, we'd moved back to Arizona, worked on a farm, and I realized through my brother, the one who had the factory, I learned a little bit about the web because it was still very new. And I was going to try to sell art pecans direct online. Well, that never panned out because we didn't really have the time to work in Arizona. We didn't even have a connection at that time, but I wanted to get into it very much. So I did that, and a good friend asked me if I would try to sell his artwork online. So I did that and put up an art gallery with his stuff, and I got several other people involved in that. It was a lot of fun.
And when we talked to Ingrid, your BW, before, when did you meet her, or how did you meet her?
I met her at a meeting at a church. You know, I walked in, and there she was. We started talking, and we became friends.
In Montauk? Or?
In Montauk, we were going down in the basement of the St. Teresa's, which hopefully we'll soon have another basement. They're rebuilding St. Teresa's, and we became friends. And after about a year, we realized maybe there was something else going on, and you know, it just grew from there.
And you have a lot of same interests?
Well, obviously, we both have a very deep interest in the kids. She's got 2 boys. I don't have any children. And, you know, the younger one was 10 when we got together. And he's now
so
23, almost 24.
Wow.
Yeah, Nick is the apple of my eye. You know,
that's great. That's great.
He's a wonderful guy.
And on the website, you also said that you have a talent for organization. Well, I really admire people who have a talent for organization.
Well, you wouldn't tell it by my desk, but you know, there's different levels of organization, and you know, I do organize, you know, the plans and how to put together. Right now, I'm putting together an exercise. This will be a tabletop exercise for the key players for a hurricane exercise at Gurney's Inn. And we'll do it over 2 days, a few hours a day. And, you know.
Well, when I read the organization, I think my thought is that you would just, if there was a chaos, you would just go in there and organize everything.
Well, it doesn't really work that way. You know, I work in chaos a lot.
I wish it
would. Every time, you know, there's an emergency, and you show up, and there's a car wreck, say, and everyone shows up there and starts to do things. It's all chaos. You have no idea what you're getting into, who's there already, who's in charge. It's all chaos, and you have to kind of work your way through that. You know, and that's what I do. I generally end up
and you're
saying,
good at that.
Okay, let's focus on this victim or this car or maybe the other car, you know, and have to decide and make the decisions. And it actually comes pretty easy to me.
Because a lot of people just freeze.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of people are just waiting for direction.
Yes.
And
you have to
if
take
they want
charge,
direction,
and you're a take-charge person.
I'll give them direction. Yeah.
That's good. That's a good quality.
Yeah.
And how are you doing with your writing? Are you writing an autobiography? Or are you writing a novel?
Mostly now I'm writing papers. I'm working on my master's degree in
Are you going to
emergency
school?
management. Oh, yes. I've got 7 more
Where
weeks.
do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, that's what I always tell them when they ask us in class. You know, say, well, I've been a firefighter for so long, and I think I'll be an emergency manager when I grow up.
Is that what you're taking?
Yeah, that's the focus of my degree is emergency management.
What?
Emergency management.
Emergency
It's within the at John Jay. There's the protection management is the degree, but there's different emphasis within there. There's emergency management, fire management, security management, and they're all lumped into the same degree. And we do take courses across specialties also.
So how did we get onto this schooling? I asked you about your writing.
Oh, my writing. Well, that's what I'm writing. Yeah.
That's what you're writing about?
Yeah, I'm writing. I write
like a book
a lot of
or
stuff.
a pamphlet or what?
No, and I don't have to do a thesis, so it's not a thesis either. But I write a lot of papers.
How about
for them.
writing a...
And I'm writing plans at Gurney's. Mostly it's more technical writing
How
that I've been
about
doing
writing
now.
a novel about me and Ingrid?
Well, that might come up someday. You know.
That should be interesting.
Right now, I've got a very short-term focus. You know, I graduate in I finish in 7 weeks. You know, and
because she's quite a gal.
she
It must
is.
be something
She
to
is.
live with her. She keeps you on your toes all the time.
She's a whirlwind of activity.
Yes.
Until once she logs off the computer, she's horizontal. You know, she might not be asleep, but she's horizontal, and she's just catching up. Mm-hmm. And I'm usually in the other room on the computer anyway until I can't quite make any sense of what's going on there. And I say, enough of this. It's time to go to bed. And that's
so how did you feel about the wedding of the son?
Oh, that was wonderful. I had a great time. I was sorry I couldn't go to Germany.
Oh, you
because
didn't?
Classes started on the 29th of August. And so I had to stay here, and he got married on, I guess it was the 31st of August or 1st of September, something like that. And
but
so,
you were able to go to Gurney's End.
But I went to Gurney's, sure. I was there, and we had a wonderful time. That was a wonderful wedding. Ingrid's a very good organizer too. When she
yes, I could
comes over,
tell.
has some very interesting ideas. She had a card under each plate, and you looked in the middle of the thing. She had everyone take out the card, and there were questions. I think it was about how to have a happy marriage, 400 ways to have a happy marriage or something. and so she just torn the pages out of the book and put them around there, and so then everyone had to stand up and read one of them that were on their card, whichever one was appropriate. And I'd never seen anything like that before, and I thought it was wonderful. Everyone had a lot of fun with that. There's just, you never know what to expect, what new thing she's going to come up with. She's a very creative person, and thinks out of the box, you know, which I appreciate, because everything that I do, you know, you got to stretch the box. You got to, you know. I'm in a very evolving field, so you have to kind of look around the corners. How do we get there from here? And it's not always a straight line. You know, you gotta work around, and it's a lot of difficulties that we have in this field.
So
I'm just excited about it.
How old were you when you reached this height?
Oh, I was probably about 17 when I.
Were you always?
I think I grew maybe a little bit after that, but not an inch.
Were you always the tallest one in your among your friends and in the class?
Among the family, you know. Yeah.
Yes. Was there any problem with that, or you were proud to be tall?
No, it never bothered me. You know, it was just, I just accepted it.
But you have to go to special stores to buy
clothes. Yeah, the hardest thing is getting clothes, right?
The hardest thing is getting clothes.
Right. Sure, it still is.
But also, I find that people with your height and, well, some people with more weight, they need special furniture also.
Yeah. I would think I would need special cars. That seems to be the thing that's most difficult. You know, I joke that when I buy a car, I go out and try them on. You know, because a lot of them I don't fit.
I know. I
fit.
knew this. I had this friend who was, you know, about as tall as you, but he was like twice as heavy. And a couple of times I picked him up, and I don't know how he fit into that car. It was all crunched up with the legs. So
Ingrid brought a Mazda Miata. You know, I cannot drive it because I can't get my knees around the dashboard to use the pedals.
So you need a special car.
Yeah, can't use hers. So I've never driven her car.
And when you fly, you're not very comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, we try to get the over the wing seats, the escape doors. That's always a nice one. Besides, you know, maybe I'll be lucky someday and people will think I'm crazy, but, and I'll actually be able to throw one out. You know, I've always thought that would be kind of fun.
Well, that would be a good subject to write, not a novel, but, you know, a little informational
story.
booklet, know about how people who are as tall as you, the problems and how you could fix it and make yourself more comfortable. Just like for me, I'm too short. I have similar problems in a different, in the opposite way.
Right. I used to share a house with a woman who was 4'10".
Wow.
And you know, we had, you know, it was amazing. We had exactly the same problems at the opposite extremes. She had a lot of difficulty finding clothes that would fit her. You know, she couldn't buy girls' clothes because they didn't fit. You know, she was a woman. You know, it just didn't work. She had a lot of trouble.
Yes, it is. We find that, but we find ways to come around it and compensate for it. So I know you for several years. I never did ask you about your name, Sunshine. Is that your real name?
That was not my birth name, no.
No.
No. I did spend a couple of years in Vietnam, and that was my handle there, and I adopted it when I came back.
People call you Sunshine because of your sunny disposition?
Well, I hope so.
So, is it a secret what your name was prior to Sunshine?
No, it's my middle name, Glenn.
Who?
Glenn.
Glenn.
Right.
Glenn Lemme.
Right.
And Sunshine is, you know, I just never wanted to ask you. I don't know why, you know, and nobody that I know would even suggest that, well, that's not his real name. His name is Glenn. Sunshine. It's just so normal.
Yeah, I've been Sunshine a lot longer than I've been Glenn.
It is. It stands out. It goes with your stature.
Well, thank you.
It does. So mostly I thought that you would be writing other things. Do you ever help your wife write a column or what she does?
Sure. I used to do that a lot, but you know, because she still comes up with a lot of translates German phrases in German word order, and so the words are wrong, you know, in wrong order.
So you edit
or she will have a T at the end of a word where it should be a D, because in German it's DT. They're both of them there, and she just kind of has to pick one of them, and she picks the wrong one about half the time, you know.
So you are just
but she's getting very
her
good,
work.
very good at it. Yeah, most of it was just editing, and she's gotten much better, you know, with experience.
But when she doesn't have time, you don't take over and write for her.
No, I don't do her writing. I do my own, you know, and I too, I don't do as much writing as she does, but I do a lot of writing, generally about emergency management subjects. Although I've written about
you write for the
settlement of
Montauk Sun also?
I've written for the Montauk Sun. I've written for the Montauk Pioneer.
Is that two different papers?
Yeah, they're two different papers, right? And I think I've been published in Dan's papers. I used to write a column there about computers, and it just got too much for me, and I just had to quit that. So there's a lot of things that I do, you know, and I have a lot of other interests that I write about.
Which is your favorite?
My favorite interest?
Well, all these things that you do.
Oh,
which would you say is your favorite, or which one you do the most?
Oh, the thing I do the most. Mostly, I think we probably do more ambulance calls than anything else.
Calls,
but,
yeah.
We have had very few fires in Montauk. We did burn a house down this weekend, but that was planned.
That was planned.
We planned that out.
Yeah, I hear.
It's always a lot of fun to do that. I love fires because you're out there. You know you're with the guys who are going to take care of you, you know, and they know that if there's a problem, you're going to go in and get them, you know. I've always, in a lot of drills, they'll say, you know, go in there with a search, or make a 3-man search team. You're going to have to be the last guy because you're going to have to sneak off. You're going to go be a victim then. And you know how hard that is because the guys don't want to lose sight of you. Don't want you to know they're all constantly checking, make sure that you're there.
That's great.
And
now we're going to come to a special feature of our show. We're going to show a picture for everybody,
okay.
And who can identify it will let me know, and I will put their name in my fishbowl and pick it out, and that person is going to be my next guest.
All right. That's great.
And I just wanted to comment about that. I read a book about a firefighter. I mean, it was his own biography, and it's amazing what firefighters do. It's very daring. Well, would you believe that a half hour went by?
Yeah.
Chatting
fast.
with you, time just flies.
It just does.
And I'm so glad that you came on my show, and I would like to thank the Coens for underwriting this show, and also my crew. If I could remember the names. Lee Davis, my director, and LTV, and Robert, and Evan, Evan Zari, my camera person. And I had another camera person, Michael, but I don't know what happened. He probably was called in an emergency. Yeah. Okay, bye everybody. I keep waving. Bye.
Bye.
See you next time. Don't forget to tune in to The Play is the Thing.
See you later.
Yes. Taylor and Michelle Cohen. And Sunshine Lemire.
Okay, well, they got it right this time. They got it right this time.
Yes. Well, it was great.
Yeah,
Another
great.
2 shows.
Wouldn't you like to do 4 more?
Today? No.
But anyway, there's 6 of them at a time.